Okay, what's going on, guys? Back at you again, and we are gonna do a part three. I just wanted to just touch base and see what was left because there's gonna be stuff happening this weekend, some signings this weekend, most likely, and I'm just not gonna be able to get to it all. I'm gonna be busy this weekend, so I wanted to just check this list out. You know what I mean? And give another prognostic about what I think and go from there. So these are the guys that are left. These are the guys that have not been signed yet. So we got Aaron Rodgers at the top of the list, right? They show the years played 42. Almost, well, he's 41. I don't want to cheat his years because at that age, every month matters. So I don't want to be like, oh, he's 42. He's not 42 yet. So he's 41. And it's just with guys you got up here, you got to ask yourself, why have these guys not been signed yet? A guy like Cooper Kupp, you got to ask yourself. A few years ago, he was the Triple Crown winner. The last person to do that was Jerry Rice. So now you mean to tell me this dude's not even 32 yet and he just can't play anymore? Los Angeles just releases him? Is that what we're saying? Is Cooper Kupp just done? Does he have no more magic left? Is he just riddled with injuries? You got to ask yourself. Then there's Stephon Diggs, who 2 years ago we were thinking of him as a top 10 wide receiver. Has he fallen off a cliff? What's going on with him? Why does no one want to sign him? Is he more trouble, more problems than he's worth at this point in his career? Because I know when he was with Buffalo, he was driving them crazy up there. Like, I know in Buffalo, he gets hidden in Buffalo because it's Buffalo. No one gives a damn about what happens in Buffalo. But the residents out there and the team, they felt that. He brought a lot of noise. There was a time where he crashed his Ferrari into some wall and just left his car there. That's just one story. And like just left the car there, left the scene. And then he like made up some lie like I was sleeping. Like, what? Yeah, like you guys go read up on Stephon Diggs, man. This dude is a headache, and it's showing right now why no one wants to sign him. I can understand why no one wants to sign him. He's a great player, or was at least. Maybe he probably lost a step. Maybe he's just not the same guy he's been. You know what I mean? And since he's not the same guy, no one wants to put up with his crap anymore. So the teams are talking right now. They're talking right now by not signing him. They're saying, bro, you're not the same guy no more. If you were, we'd be paying you. There's a reason Buffalo shipped you off, and there's a reason Houston ain't signing you. And he just lost a step, it seems, right? That has to be the reason. And on top of that, maybe he didn't lose a step, but maybe he didn't get better, and he's just more trouble than he's worth. That's probably what it is, man. He's a diva receiver. He is just entitled. You know what I mean? Think about it, man. But for 10 years, he's been getting paid big bucks. The number one guy, featuring in offenses. That gets to your head. You know what I mean? So now you go from that to now he's not even signed on a team. So, but one thing he does have on his side, though, he has played for two teams that were contenders and were in the playoffs. So you can't say that he doesn't make you better. But the question is the headache, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is he going to be more of a headache than the good that he brings to your team? That's what you got to ask yourself. And that's the same question you got to ask yourself with Aaron Rodgers. We know he can throw the football, bro. That's not going to go away ever. He's going to be able to throw the football 20 years from now when he's 60, 61, So the question here is, are you able to constantly get up after being knocked on the ground at this age? Like, are you going to be durable enough? Do you want to be durable enough? And on top of that, are you going to bring all this noise to our locker room? Because you do the Pat McAfee show every week, right? So that is a distraction for any football team. It's a distraction for us, and we're watching the damn thing. Well, not me. I'm just saying in general. So a lot, like when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, you're talking about baggage, It's not just Aaron Rodgers and his greatness. No, there's all this stuff that comes with Aaron Rodgers. The ayahuasca, the trips, the dark retreats, right? He's a single man, Not saying that there's anything wrong with being single, but single men that are rich, you know what I mean, tend to have no one to hold them accountable, you know. Men that are single, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just a tendency. That's why they say tends or tendencies. So these are the tendencies of rich single men. They just don't really have much accountability because there's no one at home to do that to you. You know what I mean? The people that are, think about it, the people that surround you, they make less money than you. They're less of a celebrity than you. You know what I mean? Less of importance in the world. So, like, what are you going to look like, Aaron Rodgers, taking advice from someone perceived as less than you, even though that's ridiculous? You know what I mean? Just even me saying that. But that's how these people think. So if you're Aaron Rodgers and you've surrounded yourself with a bunch of yes men, how do you get better? Like, what's your motivation point? Like, where's the point that you just say, you know what? I need to change. I need to do something different. This hasn't worked. Because technically it hasn't. The dude hasn't won since 2011. I know it's part of the plans, but we got to keep it real. As pretty of a ball that he throws, the man hasn't won. So what are we... He has a lot to prove. If he's coming back and he comes out with a dud season, I don't want to hear about this Aaron Rodgers talk next year. You know what I mean? If he comes out and just looks like crap, because I know he looked better towards the end of the year with the Jets, but they stunk. They weren't competing. They were always on offense, right? Well, I shouldn't say always on offense. Their defense is always on the field. So when they were on offense, they were down so much that they were always passing. So of course he's gonna have high pass numbers. It wasn't like they were in tight games and he had great numbers and always making these great throws and tight windows. There wasn't no windows. At that point when the team is beating you so bad, they're not trying their hardest. They're not gonna be covering you as tight. So the windows are gonna be bigger and you're gonna get garbage stats. And that tended to happen with the Jets. They'd be down big and he gets garbage stats. I don't know how that equates to a team that's a contender or needs a quarterback. Because we keep saying the Giants, they need a quarterback. This could very well be a disaster if he goes to the Giants. Or it could be terrific. That's what we said with the Jets, but it ended up being a disaster. But at the same time, the Jets, they are a disaster. Their ownership's a disaster. I don't know where the Jets go from here. Woody Johnson, as long as Woody Johnson is your owner, you're not winning anything. He's just not a good owner. And to be good in anything, you need good ownership and you need good management. And at the same time, he probably just pisses everyone off. I bet you Woody Johnson pisses all the owners off. The commissioner, everyone, even Vegas. So they're just like, you know what? You ain't winning nothing, dude. So I just don't know where the Jets go. They have, Justin Fields. I guess, I don't know. I just don't know where the Jets go. So Cooper Kupp, I don't know where he would go because he's won a championship. I'm guessing he would probably want to go somewhere where he can compete. So I would say somewhere maybe like Los Angeles. I could see him there because Cooper Kupp, he's a blocking receiver. He loves to block downfield. He runs crisp routes, and he used to get open. I don't see too many Rams games because I'm watching Red Zone. So I see it all. So I can't just isolate on him. I see his highlights. You know what I mean? But maybe we can watch some tape on certain players, on some of these players, and see what they look like. Because I don't want to talk too much on him because I haven't singled him out and watched him on tape. Maybe that's something we can do. We can watch tape on some of these guys, but at the same time, these guys are going to get signed sooner rather than later. But if they don't get signed for a while and they have to wait till like week 1, we'll watch some tape on them because I'll have some free time this summer because we don't have much content other than some of the stuff we do off brand. But yeah, maybe we'll watch some tape so these guys aren't signed. So like a guy like Cooper Kupp, I could see him going to a team like, hold on, let me bring up my divisions so I can see teams in my face so I can think. So Cooper Kupp, he could probably go to a team like, the Chargers would be good, right? but he's a price tag on him. His price tag, his market value is $10 million. I'm not sure if they're gonna have to eat that $30 million or whatever it was from the Rams, or maybe the Rams ate it by releasing him. I'm not sure how that works, but he has a $10 million market value. I could see him going to the Chargers. I'd say Cincinnati, but they don't really like spending money on their own players, let alone free agents. You're going to notice on this free agency list, Cincinnati, I don't think they signed anyone. They never spend money, guys. It's insane. Like, just the fact, the sheer of, like, I just think they're cheap. You know what I mean? I just think they're just cheap. I wish it showed the previous team, but I guess look at this. Let's look at this list. You don't see any Cincinnati Bengals signings. They are cheap, guys. And also, they're also baked into the losing. So, oh, there they are. A D tackle, $14 million. But like compared to these other teams that are in there trying to grab players and make a turnaround, they're sitting on their hands. Cincinnati hasn't made anything happen, just like the Cowboys, right? They got someone finally. The Cowboys did, but the point I'm making, signing a player, one or two players, no-name backup type guys, that's not going to change your franchise. It's not going to do much of anything. So I just don't understand where, as a Cincinnati Bengals player or fan or anything, where you go from here. You guys haven't gotten better. Everyone else, well, I shouldn't say everyone else, but there are at least 10 teams that have dramatically just gotten so much better compared to your Bengals and the Cowboys and the Niners. Of note, there's more teams that aren't really doing much, but those teams are expected to be good, and they just haven't been doing much of anything in free agency. Even the Browns have been making moves, and they don't even have a quarterback. So these three teams I just mentioned have a quarterback, and they're just letting that quarterback wither away and just, oh, we'll sell seats. As long as he's there, we'll get our money. That's what these owners only care about now because they know they're not going to win it all. So they're like, oh, we're going to make the same money as the winner does. So let's just get the players we need to be competitive enough and have a good quarterback. Like, they think that's all they got to do. And that's why we get such a shitty product in the NFL, guys. Like, excuse my French, I don't like cursing that much, but it's true. We don't get a good football product because of what I just said. And there's many other reasons why, too. But that's the main reason. If the owner doesn't care, it starts from the top down. If your owner, and you see he doesn't care, he's not signing players, he's not really trying to make the team better. If he's going half-assed, what do you think the players are going to do? You know what I mean? Everyone takes the lead of the owner. Believe it or not, bro. Think about it. You work for any company you work for. If your boss is trash, aren't you going to work like trash too? You're sitting at work and you see your boss just chilling, smoking cigarettes, just eating, talking shit, loose as hell with it, no rules. You're going to be the same way. You're going to do the same stuff. You are your company. And we all lead by example. If that's your leader, the owner is the leader of the organization, right? It goes owner, GM, coach. So owner is shitty, GM most likely will not be great, and the coach usually is crap too. And then you think that breeds a good team? You could say rig all you want, but it still comes down to ownership at the end of the day. Because these owners got to talk to people that are in charge of picking who wins and loses, and the referees and everything else that happens, and the script writers. If you're just a crap person as an owner and just no one wants to talk to you or be around you, you think they're going to do you any favors? You think they're going to let you win in week 4? If you're the Bengals and you're just an asshole, right? Mr. Brown, I think he's the owner. That's the name of the guy. And you're just a pretentious asshole. You think they're going to, as you're talking to them for however long you have to talk to them, they're going to write you in any wins or whatever? If we're assuming that, obviously, that it's rigged and scripted. But this year, I plan on doing a little bit different this year. I'm going to, just to get more following, I'm going to lean towards the real approach. And then we're going to get them on the back end once we get all the sheep to come in, because we got to change this, man, because we need to change this product. The only way we're going to get a better product is by putting them on blast. And the only way we're going to put them on blast is by getting a bigger following to show them what the hell they're doing on this field. So the changes, we're not going to get any change if we don't get this out there and get this known. We're going to get the same boring BS football, non-competitive football. Like, how long do you guys want to do this for? Forever? Don't you guys want to take back your sport? Like, that's the only way you're going to do it, is protesting and showing everyone in slow motion the bull that's happening. We got to show them the BS that's happening, and that's the only way. And I'll gladly do it, but we got to gain a bigger following. And if I got to do it by pretending that it's real for a little while, just to get people, onto the right track, to, crash their dreams and show them that it's fake, that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? And I still think that's the Lord's work, Like Jesus said, by any means, whosoever shall come, let him in. That's what we're going to do. So, but yeah, no Bengals pickups, barely any. They got Pierny back, right, from the Chiefs. So why'd you let him go? Just to bring him back. Joe Burrow likes him because he's a really good third down back, very reliable. But yeah, you seeing all these other teams, finally Cowboys, but we saw this, right? No, Javonte, this was earlier. Yeah, all right, we didn't see that the other day, but that's not going to change anything. Javonte, he's torn both his ACLs, I believe. Like, you know what I mean? He was on the Broncos. Like, if you think he's your saver as the Cowboys, you're just completely mistaken. Like, you guys need an explosive runner, like someone like Zeke in his prime, or Gianti. You need an explosive runner, and if Dak doesn't wake up and start playing better, because he's been in the league long enough, like at this point in Dak's career, he should have enough experience to be able to dice defenses up. Like, you've been doing this for 10 years, bruh. Like, you still can't just dice up defenses. You still have to go through your coach's play and listen to his progressions. Like, you know what I feel like when I'm watching Dak Prescott? It just feels like he's not progressing. You know what I mean? Like, guys like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, they're getting better every week. They're hitting passes. Like, every week you're seeing Jalen add to his arsenal of passing, right? But with Dak, it feels like for the last 4 or 5 years, he just hasn't progressed in that way. He's always, locked on one receiver, same thing all the time. There's no improvisation. That's really Dak's problem. He plays too safe. You know what I mean? He doesn't risk. He doesn't throw you open. He doesn't risk any passes. Then that's not gonna be a winning formula. Like Mahomes, you think Mahomes is scared to let it rip? Mahomes is not scared to throw the football. He doesn't care what kind of defense you play. Jalen Hurts, at first, his first couple of years, you could tell he was a little frantic and a little, not willing to do that as much. But now, with his experience, he has all the confidence in the world. Jalen Hurts is fitting balls in now, on the run, across the body. He is so confident. You can smell it on him. And guys like Jared Goff, you think he's scared to let it rip between defenders? No. And that's my point. Like, Dallas has more problems than they know. Like, Dak is a good quarterback. He's a B quarterback, but he's not going to carry the team. And he never has been that guy. He's a guy that needs guys around him, and then he can keep the oil well rolling, And that's it. If you're expecting him to pull the magic out of the hat, guys, it's not him. And I've always said from the beginning, Tony Romo is better than Dak Prescott. I don't know where they are in terms of records and all that passing yards, but you got to remember though, Tony Romo was half in an era where they ran the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So he was handing off the ball for half the game for 7 years or more. You know what I mean? It was a different football in the 2000s. And then he had the 5-year run where the NFL changed the passing and it was mostly passing. So you gotta remember that. So if Romo was playing in this era, he would probably win a Super Bowl, and he would completely make Dak look foolish. I don't know if a lot of you remember how good Romo was. He was easily a top 5 quarterback. And I don't know. I feel like he should have been able to win one, but that's what I mean. Jerry signed that blood oath. You had a great QB like him, and they still couldn't get it done. And they had so many chances, too. That's the crazy part. That's how you know that something fishy is going on with the Cowboys, man. I don't care what anyone says. I'll probably get killed for bringing that up. But, man, that's just the truth of it. Like, you can't tell me that something fishy isn't going on with that team. Just the way everything always works out and the way everything plays out. You know what I mean? So, if you think I'm crazy, let me know. But I think something went down with that. He paid someone. Some agreement was made in, like, the 90s. They won 3 in a row with Troy Aikman, not even a great quarterback, but in history he'll be known as a great. He won 3. Yeah, I know. But anyone that played this sport that talks about quarterbacks, no one will ever bring up Troy Aikman. You know what I mean? Because he was not that good. Go watch him on YouTube, man. He didn't throw a pretty ball. Like, he threw wobbly, ugly passes all the time. Like, Emmitt Smith was the driving force. He had Michael Irvin, who in that time, Michael Irvin was such a great athlete. Like, just guys weren't athletic like that. You know what I mean? He was playing against janitors, like, jumping over them, running by them. You got a guy like Michael Irvin, right? You got Emmitt Smith, you know, back in those days, like the best running back in the league. Aikman didn't have to do much. Hand that thing off. Let Michael Irvin do most of the work on the slants and the quick passing, and then hit him with the deep pass every now and then hand it off to Emmitt. Emmitt did most of the work back then. You know what I mean? It was Emmitt Smith's world, and Troy Aikman came for the ride. That's what that was. Make no mistake about that. Troy Aikman will tell you, or let's say if he's telling the truth, that if Emmitt Smith weren't there, they don't win a Super Bowl. Not one. I'm sorry, they don't. Michael Irvin with Emmitt, same thing. Like, you gotta remember, Troy Aikman went through a losing season with no wins with that Cowboys team. I forget what year it was. Like, he was losing, like, majorly bad, getting injured, looking bad, guys. Like, these championships saved his legacy because he was a bona fide loser before that three-peat happened. And then all of a sudden they fell off a cliff, and then they just could never sniff even an NFC championship, right? So it's just like something weird happened, bro. You don't go from winning 3 in a row, well, it wasn't a three-peat. It was 2, and then a third came after, right? After a missed year. But the point I'm saying is you don't go from winning 3 in 5 years to just falling off the map and never getting there 30 years later. That just doesn't happen. It's unheard of. You'd at least make an appearance or get to the NFC Championship a few games. Even with the Eagles, you know what I mean? It happened with them. Like, they made an appearance and they were always just knocking on the door, getting close until they finally got it done twice. Like, I just don't buy these stories, man. You just gotta, like, think and look into this stuff harder. Don't let these people lie to you. But, like, yeah, the point is that I'm making on this side is, look at this, no Bengals signings, man. They just sit back, and we're seeing every other team, even the Giants, the Jets, the Bears, now finding the Cowboys. But the Cowboys aren't getting people of any significance. Look at this, a punter, you know, backup players, like, so. And that's the end of the list. Eric Stokes is actually a really good corner, fast corner. I'm surprised that the Packers let him go. So now the Raiders get him. So the Raiders are going to be more competitive. I don't know how good they're going to be. I need to see how they draft and see how the rest of free agency goes. But in terms of what's left, so Cooper, I could see him going to the Chargers or the Broncos because he runs great routes and Sean Payton loves that. And I could see him going to the Bills as well. Because the Bills, remember what he did to them, right? Wait, is it the Bills I'm thinking of? No, excuse me, the Bengals, The Bengals could use him as like a slot guy, and then you got T. Higgins on the outside and Jamar Chase on the outside. You had those three together, that'd be insane. but it's not going to happen. Even the Cowboys. Honestly, the Cowboys should really sign Stephon Diggs because they deal with diva receivers all the time. Now you're gonna have CD and Stephon together. That is gonna be a nightmare for the coaches. But who cares? You're only about selling tickets anyway, Jerry. So Stephon will sell you tickets, and you get to let him play with his brother. Right? Isn't his brother on that team, the cornerback? So that would sell tickets. So I think Stephon might go to the Cowboys. And that might be like their one big splash move, but it really doesn't make them a winner. You know what I mean? Like that move ain't gonna win you the Super Bowl. You guys have so many other holes, and they need a running back that they can rely on. That's something they haven't had since Zeke. Before Zeke got traded, though, not when Zeke came back. Before Zeke got traded, and even 2 years before that, that was the last time that they've had like a really good consistent running back. So we're talking like 2018 almost, or 17, or maybe even sooner. So running backs are hard to find. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, they can plug and play. So then why aren't there more great running backs? There's not that many great ones. There's decent ones, but it's hard, man. I'm telling you, especially when guys are crashing inside, unless they're giving you like one of those free play long runs, it's really hard to run the ball like that, man. Let's see. Von Miller. Well, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, honestly, I could see him going back to the Chargers on a much lesser deal. Like the Chargers would never pay him that. I could see Keenan Allen going to the Rams on a smaller deal to play their slot, and then they'd have three really great receivers. I could also see, you know what? Another place I could see Stephon Diggs going, the Ravens. But I don't know how much cap room they have, so that's the one thing I would have to say. And the Lions would be a good spot for Keenan Allen, honestly. Also, the Giants, they need a quarterback, we know that. But they could also use another guy to take pressure off of Neighbors. So I could see Keenan Allen going to the Giants. Because Daboll likes proven receivers and proven quarterbacks. Or guys that he can coach up. Or guys that he can count on. So there's that. And then Von Miller. I could see Von Miller. Honestly, I could see him going back to the Rams on a very different contract, obviously. Because the Rams, they feel like they can compete. The Rams this year, because think about it, they were, in their minds, they were one drive away from going to the Super Bowl. So if that's the case, you know what I mean, and they're going to make a run, I wouldn't be surprised if Von Miller sees himself back over there, guys. I really would not. But I'm going to leave this off right here. But Amari Cooper, we'll talk about him real quick. Amari Cooper and Brandon Cooks. I could see Amari Cooper going back to the Cowboys because they need a receiver. So if Stephon Diggs ends up going to the Ravens or elsewhere, the Cowboys need to get on Cooper, honestly. Because that division is just going to be too hard to deal with. I just don't know how you can't. Because every team is stacking up. I could even see the Giants picking up Amari Cooper, but they got to figure out that quarterback situation, though. Who else? The Chiefs, they need to fix their wide receiver room. I could see maybe Cooper going there. Brandon Cooks, I could see him going to the Broncos, reunite with Sean Payton one more year. But, yeah, we'll leave it off right there. If we see any big moves happen, we'll talk about it. Maybe a big trade. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.